Hey LinkedIn, happy Friday. Hope everyone has a great weekend ahead of them. I thought I'd take this opportunity to record another video and try the Loom tool again. And so, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Cindy Liu. I am a technology and business leader, and I help companies drive growth and efficiencies through data driven strategies. And so, what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about an article by David Ewing about the qualities that all leaders should have no matter your background. And David is the CEO of Motive, which is an Oracle customer experience company based in Austin. So, from the beginning, he talks about he is an engineer turned CEO. So, immediately, he has my attention. I'm an engineer, maybe not an aspiring CEO, but I love how he carries everything he learned as an engineer and carries on to how he conducts business. And he says the three characteristics of a successful leader in business are problem solving, adaptation, and continuous learning. So let's talk about those three things. And so from the get go, he talks about problem solving. He goes into a very descriptive analogy of the only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. How true that is. And then he talks about when he encounters a problem, he takes out a blank sheet of paper, writes it down, and start breaking it up into pieces. And I gotta say, that's the same approach that I take when it comes to problems. I'll share an example of something that I encountered in my last role. When I was at Dell, a piece of new legislation came out that would affect all advanced computer chips going forward. And being in the computing business, that had great implications, obviously. So my leader asked me, hey, how is this going to affect us? And it was like most things, kind of an urgent thing, and we didn't really know what was going to happen because it was a new thing. And it was broad. And so I took out that piece of paper and started writing out areas where it would affect our business, and patterns started to emerge. I started seeing where it would affect our supply chain, where it would affect our customers and sales, and where it would even affect our competitors and the market landscape going forward. And so I'm starting to be able to break it into smaller pieces and tackle those one at a time to come up with some recommendations in that regard. And a lot of times, what I find most difficult is taking out that blank piece of paper is very intimidating because it just seems like anything can happen. But not being afraid to just brainstorm, jot down ideas, I grabbed a teammate and we started looking over things. It seemed a lot more manageable once we got some thoughts on paper. Then he talks about the next piece, which is adaptability, or being willing to. He says, roll your sleeves up and try things. And he says something that is very welcome in engineering, which is failure is often seen as a valuable learning experience, but I find that's not always the case in a business setting because we're so focused on pushing the product out or being the first to meet customer needs, being the first mover, that anything that deters us from that goal is often not very welcoming news to leaders' ears. So I want to share something that I learned from business school that really affected me and shaped how I view things going forward. And it's about the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster. I'm a little bit too young to have experienced that firsthand, but when I learned about it, it had immense impact on me for a couple of reasons. Because number one, it was an engineering problem, okay? And they knew about it and they had many opportunities to fix it, but the business decisions that surrounded it, it was not an environment where they were free, engineers were free to discuss issues with management. And as a result, it caused a catastrophic outcome. Lives were lost. And affected me because as an engineer, I took an oath in all of my work to protect everybody. And I aim to do the same in how I conduct business. And I can see where if we lose sight of fostering an environment where it's okay to raise concerns, that things like that can happen. And so how do you dedicate yourselves to a mindset of continuing to learn from your mistakes and to be better? And so he talks about that, about continuing to learn new things, but learning from your experiences, but also adopting a mindset where you're focusing on outcomes and measurable impact. Okay, so I think in everything that I do, I make it into a process, and being a process engineer, and in each step of the process, then you can define the desired outcome or result and the corresponding KPIs. It's a very systematic way of, again, breaking that elephant down into digestible pieces. And my mentality is if you can't measure it, you don't know how good of a job you've done, right? And so, again, that's the balance between agility and trying to rush things out the door and dedicating yourself to being careful and to always test, and that translates to then quality and customer satisfaction, so that maybe the Challenger disaster wouldn't have happened if they had committed themselves to that mentality, rather than kind of focusing so much on the end goal of completing the launch. So anyway, I hope you enjoy my take on this particular article. I will link the article and David's LinkedIn post about it within mine. And thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.